When we speak of progressive sanctification, on the one hand, we need to keep salvation and sanctification separate in our minds. Our salvation is not based upon our sanctification, as I've already pointed out. But there is also a sense, and the apostles make this point very, very clearly, that those who are saved are and will be sanctified. For some reason, in the modern church today, we are so careful. We don't want anybody to think that a person is justified based on something they do or some works that they do, that we've almost eliminated that idea of salvation. But not only do the Scriptures teach, but the Reformers also, in interpreting what the Scriptures teach, emphasized a great deal that a person who is saved will indeed be sanctified. It follows, as sure as night follows day. That's why John says, "He that doeth righteousness is righteous." How do we know if a person is saved? By the way they live. That's what the Bible says. We somehow have come to this place in modern Christianity where it's more important what a person says about what they believe than the way they live, what they do. But that's not what John says. He that practices righteousness is righteous, he says. He that practices sin is of the devil. It really is that simple. So what's the point? The point is that salvation is such a dynamic thing. It is such a comprehensive thing that a person who is saved immediately begins to be sanctified, and they will be sanctified. True, genuine salvation is unfailingly followed by a life which follows after holiness. Unfailingly. Now, there are different degrees. I would be the first to admit that. And sometimes people don't make much progress, but there will be some progress. And there will be holiness without which no man will see the Lord, the Bible says. Some measure of separateness from sin. Some fruit in the life. That John says is that which tests whether our profession of faith is true. So if I were to ask you, what is the evidence that the Bible suggests is present in the life of a person who is truly saved? It's not the evidence of what they say, but rather how they live. And so we see there is a close association between salvation and sanctification. I think that's really, really important to remember. Fruits of righteousness follow genuine conversion. Doesn't mean we're perfect. Doesn't mean we don't have some misguided notions. Sometimes it doesn't mean that we are not flesh and blood. All of those things are true. By the way, this was likewise something that Jesus stressed in his teachings. In the parable of the sower, you know that one of the things that he pointed out about the soil that was true was that the other three soils did not bring forth plants that bore fruit. Therefore, that soil was not true, didn't receive the word. It was either choked or scorched or plucked up out of the ground. But he says that when the word truly is effectual in that person's life, it bears fruit. And likewise in Matthew chapter 7, we read these words of Christ. Not everyone that says unto me, Lord, Lord, will enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name have cast out devils? And in thy works done many wonderful works in thy name? And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity, you that practice iniquity. So what is the evidence of salvation in the life? But fruit, and especially what we're talking about here. The apostles likewise emphasize this, and we could certainly look at that, but we're not going to at this time.